Hello everyone, this is last part of Chapter 11, Part 3. In this we have to discuss upward movement of water and minerals. Then we will see detail of transpiration, translocation of a food, and because this is the last part of the chapter, we have to discuss NCERT exemplars and some questions which have appeared in previous years. This is Part 3, Chapter 11. This is Part 3, Chapter 11, Transport in Plant. First we will see mycorrhiza. In some plants, flowering plants, angiosperms, root hairs are absent. The roots are covered by, that is fungal cover. So mycorrhiza is fungal cover, a symbiotic association of fungus with the root system. The fungal filament, they form a network around the young root and they penetrate into the root cell also. The hyphae, they have very large surface area and they absorb water and minerals from soil. Much more larger volume of the soil will be in contact, which the root cannot do it. The fungus provides minerals and water to the root. In turn, the root provides sugar. Therefore, this association is known as obligate association. As in case of pinus and in case of orchids, that is mycorrhiza is found. If the seeds are without mycorrhiza, that is the seed cannot germinate, they cannot establish, that is without mycorrhiza. Now water movement of a plant, that is here. By now you have seen that is in plant, that is root, they have absorbed the water. The water has come in, that is xylem of the root. This is xylem of root. Now the question is that the water absorbed by root, it has to go up to the tip of the plant against the force of gravity. This is water movement up a plant, also known as ascent of sap. Right? Various theories have been given for this ascent of sap, that how the water will go to the tip of the plant. Sometimes this may be up to even 100 meter or even more than this. One of the theory is that is root pressure, that here the root absorbs water continuously, and because of this continuous absorption of water, the water already present in root xylem, that may be lifted up. That is root exert a pressure. Root pressure, that is provide, that pressure is very less. It can provide a modest push to the overall process of water transport. It doesn't play major role in, that is tall trees, because tall trees, they require a lot of pressure, great pressure. The greatest contribution of the root pressure, very important point this is, it is to re-establish and continuous chain of water molecules. What do you mean by? You see here by aerial part of the plant, water is transpired, and this water, that is we have this chain of water molecules. If sometimes the transpiration rate is very high, then this column, continuous column of the water may be broken here. So what's the role of this root pressure? The root pressure, it will give a mild push to this column so that this continuity will be maintained here. Continuous chain of the water molecule in the xylem, which may often break enormous tension created by transpiration. So it's very clear now that the root pressure doesn't account for majority of the water transport. Most plant, they meet their need by transpiration pull. The root pressure, very important, that is repeat, that is greatest contribution of the root pressure is to re-establish, that is continuity of, that is water column. Okay. Guttation, sometimes what happens, you see, that is if you have seen a potted plant is there, and in potted plant, that is if the rate of transpiration is low, then especially that happens in the night, or that happens in, that is early, that is morning hours. In some of the plant, what is seen, that is this is the, that is leaf. What is seen because of root pressure, that is these are the open ends, that is water droplets may be seen here. So this loss of water in form of liquid, that is known as guttation. It is observable, it can be observed at night or early in the morning when evaporation is less, that is transpiration is less, and excess of water collects in the form of droplets. This is called guttation. Guttation means loss of water that is in liquid form. Right? Now you have to see the other important that is factor responsible for ascent of SEP, that is transpiration pull. We all know that is plant they do not have heart or circulatory system. The upward flow of water through xylem in plants can achieve fairly high rate, even 15 meter per hour. So how this rate is being achieved? It has been proved by most of the researchers that is water is mainly pulled through the plant. This is the plant we have, this is the water column we have, and here that this is the transpiration. In that is aerial part, the transpiration is there and water is being pulled here. When the water will be pulled, this pull is known as, it is called transpiration pull. Because of this transpiration pull, in xylem vessel will feel that is a sort of negative pressure will develop, while because of root pressure, the pressure in xylem that will be positive pressure. Remember this thing. This hydrostatic pressure will be negative because of transpiration pull, and because of root that will be this pressure. The water, you see, that is less than 1% of the water which is absorbed by plant is used by leaves in photosynthesis. Maximum water, this is in axis, most of this water is lost through stomata in the leaves, and this loss of water in the form vapor is known as transpiration. Transpiration driven ascent of xylem SEP depends mainly on the following physical properties of water. Here that will be transpiration and it will pull the water in xylem vessel. The three important that is factors we have here. What are these three important factors? Yes, one is cohesion, one is adhesion, one is surface tension. You can understand it. Let this is the that is plant we have. Let this is the xylem we have in plant. This is the xylem, right? Xylem, you know, this is a tubular structure. The place xylem vessels we are talking about, the cells placed one above the other. What is cohesion? Mutual attraction between water molecule. Here we have, this is the that is leaf, the water is lost. So you see that these water molecules, they are making a continuous chain like this. If the water molecule is lost here, then the water molecules will go up. They have to go up because in between the water molecules there is the strong cohesive force, attraction of water molecules, that is known as attraction of water molecules in between, that is known as cohesive force. Cohesive force, and this cohesive force, it is having that is high magnitude. Addition, that this is the xylem vessel, you know, xylem vessels, is it? That is these water molecules, xylem vessels, they are having attraction to the water molecules. They will be attracted to the that is xylem, and because of this water column will not fall down. That is attraction of water molecule to the polar surface, such as surface of the tertiary elements. This is second factor, cohesive force, and this attraction is known as, that is called, that is adhesive force. Is it? Adhesive. And the third one is surface tension. Water molecules are attracted to each other in liquid state more than water in gaseous phase. So all these three properties gives water high tensile strength, an ability to resist pulling force, and high capillarity, the ability to rise in thin tube, because the xylem vessels, these are just like thin tube, which will provide capillary force also. In plant, this capillarity is added by small diameter of tertiary elements, that is tracheids and the xylem vessels, and because of this, that is water will be pulled up. It has to go up to the that is height of the plants, right? Then we have to go for that is transpiration. In transpiration, as already I told you well in advance. That is excess of water absorbed by root, that is to be evaporated or evaporated loss of water. It occurs mainly through stomata. The singular of stomata is stoma. Stomata that may be, usually these are found on leaves, but they may be on other part of the plants also. Like this is the soft stem is there, so these stomata may be there also. Usually that is lower surface of the dorsoventral leaf. Dorsoventral leaf, you know, the leaf is like this, which is having that is two surfaces. Easily we can identify upper surface and the lower surface. On lower surface the stomata number will be more in dorsoventral leaf, you know, it is found in case of dicot, while in case of monocot leaf number of the stomata found on both surfaces are almost equal, right? Beside loss of water in transpiration, that is through stomata exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, that also occurs through stomata. And this transpiration, this question came once, the transpiration through stomata, right? Transpiration through, and that is gaseous exchange. These are two independent process. Gaseous exchange, independent process. In the same stomata, that is water may be transpired and the gaseous exchange may take place together. Normally stomata opens in day and they will close at night. Immediate causes of opening and closing of this, lot of theories have been given. The detail is not there in course. Immediate closing causes, immediate cause of opening and closing of stomata is turgidity, change in guard cell. What is there, children? You know what we mean by guard cell? You must be knowing that is, these are the two modified epidermal cell. These are known as guard cell. Their inner, that is cell wall, is thick, outer cell wall is thinner one, and they have number of chloroplasts is there. The space in between is known as, that is stomatal aperture. You see, when the water will enter into these guard cells, which usually happens in day, so what will happen? That they will swell, and that is they will become more turgid, and because of this the thicker wall that will get apart and the stomata will be opened. So when the guard cells will become turgid, the stomata will open. Inner wall of the guard cell towards pore is stomatal aperture, that is this is thick and elastic. Turgidity increase is, I told you, that is two guard cells, and the stomatal aperture or pore, the thin wall that will buzz out, and in that way stomata will open in crescent shape. Opening of the stomata is also added due to orientation of microfibrils, and these microfibrils in guard cells, these are radially arranged. Remember that they will help, these are radially arranged and they will help opening of stomata. Cellulose microfibrils, these are radially oriented, you know, these are the guard cells. This one is the thick wall, this one is, that is thick wall of guard cell, this is inner one, right? This is the outer one, this one is, that is thinner one, this is outer wall, is it? And these are the nearby cells of the guard cells. These are known as, that is subsidiary cells. So what happens during stomatal opening? I told you, that is in guard cells the water will enter into, that is guard cells, from subsidiary cells they will become turgid and stomata will open, right? Transpiration is affected by several external factors: temperature, light, humidity, wind speed, and even certain internal factor, plant factors also affect transpiration. That is number and distribution of stomata. The number of stomata will be more, and these are on upper surface, the definitely rate of transpiration will be more. percent of in stomata, water status of the plant, and canopy structure. These are some internal factors which are going to affect transpiration. Right? The process of photosynthesis, you all know, that requires water. The xylem vessels from root to the leaf vein, they can supply the water which is needed for photosynthesis. Water operates through stomata. A thin film of water will be over the cell is continuous, resulting in pulling of water. You see, here is the transpiration. The water will diffuse in the surrounding air and a pool will develop. That is, if water is lost, then here, that is, water potential of this will be less as compared to the mesophyll cell. Therefore, that is, water will move from high water potential to, that is, low water potential towards this mesophyll cell. Is it? Measurement reveals that the force generated by transpiration, it can create a sufficient pressure to lift a xylem-sized column of water even up to 130 meter. You see, that much distance transpiration pull can lift the water. Now we have to compare transpiration and photosynthesis. Very interesting one. A compromise is there in between. Transpiration has more than one purpose. What is there? It creates transpiration pull. Because of this, ascent of sap will be there. It supplies water to photosynthesis. Transport, that is minerals from soil to all part of the plant. Cooling effect is there. Sometimes 10 to 15 degree temperature will go down and maintain the shape and turgidity of the cell, keeping the cell turgid. Very interesting one. Actively photosynthesizing plant that needs water. Photosynthesis is limited by available water, which can be, that is, swiftly depleted by transpiration. Transpiration, that will decrease the water, and if there will be deficiency of water, rate of photosynthesis will decrease. Humidity of rainforest is largely due to, that is, vast cycling of water from root to leaf to atmosphere and back to the soil. Very, very important point in photosynthesis. When you deal photosynthesis, detail of this you have to see. Evolution of C4 photosynthetic system is probably one of the strategy for maximizing availability of carbon dioxide and minimizing water loss. You know, in tropical areas where rate of transpiration is very high, so these C4 plants, they have become adapted to use, that is, minimum amount of water, because there may be scarcity of water. C4 plants are twice as efficient as C3 plant in terms of fixing carbon dioxide. However, C4 plant, they lose only half as much as water as C3 plant for same amount of the carbon dioxide fixed. That's why C4 plant, they use, that is, effective, that is use of water. Right? Uptake of minerals, you go now. That is, all minerals cannot be absorbed passively by root. Two factors are essential. Minerals are present in soil as charged particle, that is we have root here, and this is the soil particle we have. In soil we have minerals as charged particle, this is calcium we have, this is chloride we have, charged particles, ions, which cannot move across the cell membrane. The concentration of mineral in soil is usually lower. Here the concentration is low, while in case root the concentration is high. That's why the mineral have to move from low concentration to high concentration against concentration gradient. Therefore, the minerals, most of the minerals, must enter by active absorption. They need energy because that will be against concentration gradient. Active uptake of ion is partly responsible for water, that is potential gradient in root. Ions are absorbed from the soil by passive and active transport, but mainly it is by active transport. Specific proteins in membrane are there in root hair cells, which have that is active pump, and pumping of this iron from low concentration to high concentration into the cytoplasm of the epidermal cell. Like all cells, endodermal cell, they have many transport protein embedded in their plasma membrane, and that let some solute cross the membrane but not the others. These are selective in nature, right? Now we have to see transport of mineral ions. Ions, they have reached to the xylem either active or by passive uptake or by combination of the two. These are to be transported to the stem to all part because the minerals are required by all part of the plant. And here the pull will be developed by which the mineral will be transported. That is again transpiration pull with current of water. The chief sink where the minerals are utilized, this is the growing point of the plants, such as apical and lateral meristem, young leaves, developing flowers, fruit and seed. They need definitely minerals, and the storage organ. Unloading of minerals from the stream is at fine veins ending through diffusion and by active uptake by these cells. From the main stream, the minerals will be taken by cells where these are required by active uptake and also by that is diffusion. Minerals are frequently demobilized. From very important point, older parts or that is senescing part, older or dying leaves, they export much of their minerals content to the younger leaves. Before leaf fall, these minerals will be transported to the young leaves, and the elements which can move readily, these are known as readily mobilized minerals. For example, this is phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen and potassium. But some of the minerals which are structural components like calcium, they cannot move. So these are not that is remobilized. These are known as that is non-mobile element. Interesting part, important one. You see, analysis of the xylem, it shows that some of the nitrogen travels at inorganic ions. Much of it is carried in the organic form as amino acid and related. There was a myth that through xylem only water and minerals will be transported, and through phloem that is only organic solutes are to be transported, organic solute. But now the researchers, they have exposed, they have that is given this type of clarification, that is in xylem along with water and minerals, that is much of the minerals are carried in organic form as amino acid and related compound. Similarly, small amount of phosphorus and sulfur is carried in that is phloem. The small amount of exchange of material is there in between, that is xylem and phloem. Okay. Phloem transport, come to the that is sucrose is the that is prime substance to be transported. These are to be transported in bidirectional way. These are to be transported from that is source to sink. The source and sink according to need they may be that is changed. The sink may become source and the source may become sink. Right? In phloem mainly water and sucrose, but the hormones and amino acids are also to be transported. A hypothesis is given how the food is to be translocated. You see children, this one is that is leaf. In a leaf, you know that is sugar is synthesized in mesophyll. From mesophyll it will enter into the companion cells. From companion cells it will enter into the sieve, that is tubes. Because of this, the concentration in sieve tube will increase, and the water from xylem that will enter into, that is sieve tube, and hydrostatic pressure will increase herein, that is leaves, that is at source. And because of this pressure, the water along with the sucrose molecule that will start to move, and it will move to the root. That root is that is sink, that is here solute molecule, they will be taken out, sugar, right, and the water will be again, that will be conducted through xylem. This hypothesis was given by Munch. So here you see important thing, that is again active transport is there. Loading and uploading both are active transport. I told you that is sugar will move like this, active transport, that is loading will be there, and when the sugar will be removed, again that is active transport. Now in the last we have to see some NCERT examples, that is will not directly affect transpiration. This will affect, temperature is not going to affect directly. The lower surface of the leaves will have more number of stomata in case of dorsoventral leaf. The form of the sugar is to be transported in phloem, that is fructose. Is it? The process of guttation, that is root pressure is high, transpiration is low. Guttation, that is water is lost in the form of liquid. Water potential of the pure water is 0. That is stomatal aperture or radial orientation of the cellulose microfibril will facilitate stomatal opening. Stomatal movement is not affected by oxygen concentration. Very good answer. And process responsible for facilitating loss of water, that is from tip glass blade at night, that is root pressure. The process is known as, that is guttation. So dear children, this is part 3 of this chapter, that is transport in plant. Thank you.